President Bola Tinubu will on Monday, August 21, swear in his ministers who have been assigned portfolios. The event is billed to hold at the conference center of the Aso Villa in Abuja by 10 a.m. A statement on Wednesday by the Director of Information Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Willie Bassi, said the ministers are allowed to come with 2 guests each. On Wednesday night, President Tinubu approved portfolios for his incoming cabinet, which will see the return of a coordinating minister of the economy. The list has former Rivers State Governor Nwese Wike emerging as Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, the first Southern minister to occupy the position since the return of democracy in 1999. There is also a coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare in the person of Dr. Ali Pati, while the Transportation Ministry has been split into 2. Former Osun State Governor Adeboyega Oyetola is Minister of Transportation, while Bumi Tunji is Minister of Marine and Blue Economy. 2 former governors will man the Ministry of Defense, with former Jigawa State Governor Badaru Abubakar emerging as Senior Minister and former Zamfara State Governor Matawale Minister of State. The Petroleum Ministry is to have 2 Ministers of State. Heniken Lokpebiri is now Minister of State Petroleum, while Ekpo is Minister of State Gas Resources. Elsewhere, the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, suggested that several political parties are soon to merge with the ruling party. This hint came in response to a recent visit by Nwese Wike, the former governor of Rivers State, who is now the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, along with some high-ranking members of the People's Democratic Party from Rivers State. They visited Ganduje in his residence in Abuja. Speaking to the media alongside Simon Lalong, the immediate past governor of Plateau State, who is now the Minister of Labor, in his office in Abuja, Ganduje stated that Wike's visit marked the beginning of a positive developments for the party's efforts to expand its membership under his leadership, and that he aligns with his earlier commitment and expressed his acceptance speech on August 3rd to grow the party's membership drive. Regarding the question on whether Wike's visit indicated his potential defection to the APC, Ganduje clarified that the matter of Wike joining the APC was not discussed during the visit. He added that this topic might come up at a later time, but also pointed out that the addition of politicians like Wike to the APC will enhance the party's electoral prospects in 2027. And still on the acquaintance of strange bedfellows in the political arena, new information has surfaced about the interaction between former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and former Governor of Kano State, Rabiu Kwankwaso, following a meeting at Kwankwaso's residence in Abuja on Tuesday night. Atiku, a member of the PDP, and Kwankwaso are associated with the new Nigeria People's Party, who is now its national leader, secured the 2nd and 4th position respectively in the presidential election held on February 25. While Atiku pursued legal action to challenge the election result, Kwankwaso took a different approach by getting closer to Tinubu, which led to speculations that he might be seeking a political appointment from Tinubu's administration. However, Kwankwaso was ultimately not included in Tinubu's list of ministerial appointees. On Tuesday, Kwankwaso revealed on his Facebook page that Atiku had paid him a visit at his residence in Abuja. In his post, he expressed his pleasure at receiving the former vice president and thanked him for the friendly visit. Ladipo Johnson, a prominent member of the NNPP and spokesperson for the party's 2023 Presidential Election Council, explained on Wednesday that despite belonging to different political parties, Kwankwaso and Atiku share common national values and aspirations. Their meetings, he clarified, centered around discussions about the nation's overall situation. The 2 leaders discussed not only domestic affairs, but also addressed the state of affairs in Niger Republic and explored the best course of action, particularly in light of recent developments involving the military regime in that country. Johnson emphasized that the meeting meant went beyond political consideration, as both men are united by their concern for the welfare of Nigeria. They believe in the potential for positive change in the country and have indicated their efforts in past forward achieving this goal. And joining me tonight to discuss these issues and more, I have architect Waziri Bulama with me in the studio. He's a chieftain of the All Progressive Congress and served as a key member of the APC Presidential Campaign Council in the 2023 presidential election. Welcome to the program, architect.
Thank you.
After a long time, we're happy to have you in the studio.
Oh, thank you.
All right.
I was here before the elections.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We discussed what will happen.
Yeah.
And some of these have come to pass now.
Yeah,
Quite
we thank God, yes.
Yes, this is Daily Politics, and I'm your host, Hamza Idris. We'll take a short break, and when we return, the conversation with architect Bulama commences. Don't go away. Welcome back. You've seen quite a lengthy tidbit there because so many things, and we just want to discuss all of them with you. I hope the time will permit us.
Well, I hope so.
Yes, starting with the ministers. What was your take? It took the president such a long time. Some said, if not for the fact that there is this constitutional provision, he may likely take longer to also come up with his list. Yes. Is that correct assertion?
Well, yes, it took him long because the decision, requires a lot of considerations and a lot of consultation, across, the entire party and across the country. And the president being, a Democrat and having received, a national, mandate to govern, had to ensure, take into consideration so many factors and a lot of criteria before arriving at a decision. We're happy that he was able to come up with this list, a mix of technocrats and experienced statesmen to work with him at the executive level to run government. And I think so far so good. He has not violated the constitutional provision regarding date. And so I think we are very happy.
There is a certain group where I stumble on long list of names of people who have been omitted from that list. They mention quite a number. I don't want to call any name, but it's like there is, underground outcry that we may end up having what happened during the President Buhari administration, where loyal party members who worked assiduously for the success of the party are nowhere to be found. Did you hear something around that? Even your name was mentioned there, let me be frank.
Well, I also saw that list, and it's by no means even exhaustive. For what I know, of the party and who are in this, party, extremely capable and experienced professionals, scholars, statesmen and women in this country. I know it's a period of transition like this is always, accompanied by a great deal of anxiety, and people actually want, to be involved, in the first line of appointments, advisors and ministers. And actually, you see, most of these people have, a lot of followers behind them, and there are many people who are qualified to occupy these limited positions.
The offices are limited. Maybe
and
the
the
first line
limited. Yes, the first line appointments are truly limited. But there are, for every position, there are hundreds of capable men and women. In fact, that list was did not even include many capable men and women that ran the Presidential Campaign Council, that also ran the grassroots Presidential Campaign Council, which was set up by the president himself. And also the party itself. The party has a lot of capable men and women on its list, as well as in its structures nationwide. So, but be that as it may, the point is that these first line appointments have gone. There are other appointments that are coming.
They said it's less than 2% of what is to be expected?
Well, that is just a data kind of quoted just by the way. But I know the boards and parastatals, would absorb a lot of many more, capable party men and women to participate in decision making and running government at various levels in the country.
Architect,
so the approach to decision making, let's say, in the case of the former government,
yes,
clearly there was a complete neglect of the centrality of the party in decision making, really.
During the Buhari administration.
Exactly. But here, you see, the approach, and the relationship with the party is entirely different. This time around, the party is involved. I know, there are many sources that the party leadership had been, asked to submit list of names, from all the, strata, all levels of the party for the committee. There is a committee, set up to consider, appointments. And in the previous government.
I also heard from reliable sources that, high-profile treachery played out. Some names, replaced 3 hours to the submission to the National Assembly. And you can see even during the screening, now people like El-Rufai, nobody honestly expected that Tinubu will accept, comments around El-Rufai, who actually dared virtually every other person to now remove him from the list of the ministers. Don't you think this is a very negative pointer?
No, you see, the decision-making leading to these appointments or these nominations are very complex. You see, there are many factors, from your state, from geographic, zone, to other cultural and social backgrounds, your role in the party, your experience, and so many things come into play. And a lot of input, you see, is generated from all institutions of state as well as all the stakeholders of the party before arriving at the choice of one person from a given state. Now, another thing that we have to understand is that a president within a democratic setting does not have sole authority for decision making. He acts on advice. In fact, you see, President Barack Obama, to accentuate this point, I want to quote Barack Obama.
Go ahead,
You see, after he left office, he said that I never knew that the president or office of the president of the United States of America is so powerless until I became one.
Powerless.
But
their democracy, I think, is so strong. There are institutions that can checkmate. But they say maybe Nigeria's president is most powerful.
No. Here too, we tend to believe that every decision is taken by the president. But the president, you see, acts on advice and input made by various institutions and the decision makers and stakeholders. And in any case, in the case of Nasir El-Rufai, the president, it is a thing of honor that the president, nominated him and sent his name along with others to the National Assembly. Because this also has redeemed, the president's pledge, made to him in Kaduna, in public, that look, I want to work with you, after elections. And indeed, the president nominated him and sent him to, his name along with others to the National Assembly. And the National Assembly, is an institution of state because the president has discharged his own, responsibility to him and has identified him as one of the capable Nigerians to be in government. So the issues in the National Assembly actually, about 3 of them that were delayed, it's a process that has not been concluded. So it is not actually proper to jump into conclusions that
there's a gang up.
There is a gang up, or there is all sorts of conspiracy theories weaved around this issue. You see, clearly, that wouldn't even take anything away from, the fact that it was an honor that El-Rufai was nominated by President Tinubu. But the fact that El-Rufai too
is actually a Greek gift.
No, it's not like that. You see, the other thing is too, El-Rufai is an intelligent, professional. We must, we've known him for 40 years. We're all products. He was my contemporary in ABU.
Oh,
yeah.
An architect, a quantity surveyor.
And one of the finest, professionals in this country. He has the ability, like all professionals, to grasp issues, to push through data, analyze and come up with, actionable decisions.
An architect, I'm
and
sure even from
a
distance you are aware of that. He has done quite a lot to fine-tune what he was expected to be given, that is power ministry. That ministry has been given to another person.
Well, the point is, all this is
in fact, the slot for Kaduna is now environment and sanitation.
The point is, I won't go into all this because actually it is not public.
Yeah.
You understand? I mean, whatever he aspired to be or wished to, or where he thought of making his contributions, I mean, it's not known to the public. But what is clear is that he had been nominated by the president, as one of the few people that he wanted to work with, less than 50 in a country of 220 million.
Yeah.
And then of course he was presented to the National Assembly, and the National Assembly, the Senate is an august body of, experienced Nigerians, statesmen and women. They screen him, but I mean, what initially appeared even very successful, later they said, okay, there were some issues.
Yes.
So let us wait for the process to run its full course. That's my advice.
All right, thank you very much. We will allow the process to take its full course. But what are your take on some of the positioning of the ministers? For instance, we read a lot, we journalists, to gauge the perception of Nigerians. Yes. Some say Tinubu did not actually place the round
holes in
the round pegs. In the round hole. For instance, I said take Ministry of Defense, for instance.
Yes.
Badaru, former governor of Jigawa, is actually an accountant.
Yes.
He now picked him as Minister of Defense.
Yes.
He now took former Zamfara State governor,
yes,
Matawale, as Minister of State for Defense. During his tenure, Zamfara was reduced to a rubble.
Yes. Well,
some will say, right, that they are not actually right for those positions. I don't know.
Yes. Well, you see, this conversation, in the last 48 hours.
Yes. You have also followed the conversation.
Quite, of course. Look, in my, on my, hand, this telephone,
social media.
There are about 200 strong WhatsApp groups. You understand?
Strong WhatsApp
groups. Strong WhatsApp groups. I mean, Nigerians from all over the world, you understand, are making, input into this conversation. And the issue is, okay, when I say the choice of ministers is a mix of professionals and statesmen, all these are there. And of course, in giving the portfolio, these issues are being raised. That look, some of these people are not professionals, but they're professional ministers and so on. But what cannot be taken away is that a ministerial position is a leadership position. Okay. It is not a professional position. It is a leadership position fundamentally. Yes. Because
you are a professional.
Oh, indeed, I'm a professional.
Now, assuming they take you to Ministry of Labor.
Yes.
For instance.
Yes.
Will you really be happy?
Absolutely.
I don't want to cut what you are saying. You will go back to that. But as an architect, we expected that, assuming you were in the list, you should go to Ministry of Works.
No. Actually,
or housing,
in actual fact, the effectiveness of a minister does not depend on his profession. It depends on his capacity to work as a leader. Inspiring people, setting goals, and then bringing people together to pursue a common vision. These are the issues. So whether a person, an architect, is in defense, or an accountant in marine, or a lawyer in it's purely administrative, really. You see, so what we have to understand this. And the other thing is the determination of the president, to turn around the fortunes of this country is very, very important. It will impact on how the ministers perform. President Bola Tinubu said that he wants to be a reformatory leader like Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, he said
that's
so.
one.
Yeah.
Another thing is, on so many occasions, he has been saying that, look, we have no excuse to fail because we asked for this job. Many of these people take this statement very lightly, but this is a statement of conviction. It's a statement of conviction. It's a statement of determination. Look, we asked for this job. We campaigned hard.
And don't pity us.
Please don't pity us, And then, he also said, we will not even fail. We cannot even afford to fail.
But has he started on a sound footing? We have the National Security Advisor, of course, in his own right, a retired police officer. Now, Minister of Defense, Minister of State of Defense, all of them somehow civilian in outlook. Nigeria is facing a lot of challenges.
Yeah.
You feel that maybe if they surround themselves with the right people, they will deliver?
Well, I'm sure, you see, the president is sufficiently experienced, and he's working with many known and unknown, you see, stakeholders and advisors who give him, advice. And the other thing is, President Bola Tinubu has been known to be an effective leader, a leader who delivers, and a leader who is also very strategic. Before he thinks and takes action, he considers a lot of factors and ensures that once he takes a decision, the decisions are reasonable and acceptable, and also he makes his subordinates work to deliver. Yeah. So because of this, I'm not really concerned about, let's say, the non-involvement of retired, military officers in management of the security, sector, because essentially, you see, this is a democratic government. Yeah. Much as, we have quite a lot of highly experienced and celebrated military generals, even within our own party, who actually deserve these appointments. But these also appointments are not in themselves bad, really. Okay. Yes, the appointments are appropriate, and I believe that they will provide the kind of leadership necessary to inspire the security establishment in this country to make Nigeria safe for everybody. And
they said that TINUBU'S propensity for experimentation is legendary. And maybe that is why he now takes strange people to strange places. For instance, I am a journalist, and I know Dele Alaki very well. And I can bet my pen, for instance, that when his name was submitted, he was convinced that he was going to Ministry of Information. Now he is in Ministry of is it still or
yes? Yes,
I find it very strange.
Well, that actually is that was what most people expected, that he will be in information and strategy and so on. This,
as he started as special advisor.
And you see, Dele is also my own personal friend. Oh, we are very close. He's my friend, really.
Please, when you meet him, ask him whether he's satisfied or he will turn down this offer.
No, he wouldn't have, because actually, you see, Dele is also, apart from his media exposure and his capacity to, strategize and promote things, Dele is an outstanding leader in his own right. Okay. Given any ministry, he can fit in and deliver. Wow. Oh, yes. The point is, the point that we have to understand is that position is a leadership position. It is not a regular operative position. It is not an administrative position. It is a leadership position where people who are standing there are expected to mobilize people, mobilize stakeholders, mobilize bureaucrats, mobilize Nigerians to rally around these positions and then get things delivered. Yeah. This is the work of leadership, and I believe that some of these professionals given some of these other positions, or some politicians given professional positions, all that is required of them is leadership, and I believe they have the capacity to deliver, backed by the president's determination to deliver. And also the public expectation this time around, because we are, of course, managing a huge crisis of expectation in this country. Condition of life is becoming extremely difficult. Yeah. Cost of living is high. There are challenges of climate change. There is high, in the cost of transport. People's income has been eroded because of the high cost of, the dollar and so on and so forth. You see, we are in a very, very, very serious situation. And I believe that these guys would work hard and support the president and work with the president to deliver.
And honestly, that is the question I wanted to ask you, Architect, because looking back to May 29, 2023, when Tinubu, took over from former President Muhammadu Buhari, if you take the statistics, it's like more poor people have been created. Before we had, we don't even have middle class during Buhari. It has been wiped out. But now, even the lower class is no longer there. Because you don't even see the people on the streets. You don't see traders in the market. They have been wiped out completely within the span of 2 months. As a member of the APC, are you worried? And where did we get it wrong? The first steps taken by President Tinubu.
there was a point you made earlier, which about President Tinubu's decision-making style, where you said he's sometimes experimental. Which, of course, well, I wouldn't say this is true, but I would know. What I do know is that as a professional himself and a technocrat and someone who has been in the National Assembly as well as in the levels of government houses and interacted extensively over the last 30 years with the leadership in Nigeria and across the world. He knows the weight of decisions
he's taken.
Yes, leaders, decisions by leaders at that level can be very costly. It can be when it's negative or when it doesn't go well. And it can also have sobering kind of, effect where a lot of people would benefit. So decisions at the level of leadership at that high level, they're very expensive. And I know he's very cautious in taking decisions. He, involves a lot of things and a lot of people in arriving at decisions. But the key thing is that he is also very fast in decision making. Unlike our previous leaders, which I've pointed out in another interview somewhere, who are products of the public service or the military or something, their attitude to decision making is always slow and sometimes even reluctant. But here you have this guy who is a professional, and there's like doctors or lawyers or engineers and so on. These guys are trained as problem solvers. Yeah. So when they find themselves in government, they can easily identify the problem and then also the solution, and then they act on it with the power and authority given to them. Yeah. This is what Erufai has been doing, actually, in hitting fast, regardless of people's views and so on. Exactly. Once he sees something, he will act on it. I mean, that kind of decisiveness. So President Tinubu is also, having that trait as a professional and as a technocrat. Some of the decisions really that came with his assumption of office. Yeah. Like particularly the
implementation of the fuel subsidy removal.
Yes, because actually the previous government had already taken a decision on fuel subsidy. Yeah. In the budget, 2023 budget, there was provision for fuel subsidy up to June. Exactly. Now from June there's no provision. Yeah. So this government had no option than to stick to that budget, which had already become low. And the other issue, of course, is the exchange rate differential. Yes, that has to also go, because everybody knew that this thing had come to a very embarrassing level. You know about the story of Gudaje saying dirham. Exactly. So all this thing had to be halted. Now the resultant effect of these decisions, have their impact and implications. Yes. And already, actually, the government and all of us are concerned, and we are trying to find solution to this, because the immediate impact of this reward of fuel subsidy is a multiplication in the cost of fuel. I mean, from 200, an average of 200 naira per liter, it jumped to 600, and now a gallon is selling for about 3,000.
More than 300.
Yeah, 1 gallon. Yes. I mean, this is this is a burden too much, on commuters in this country. Yeah. And the cost of, and also on the cost of production, because all these small-scale businesses and people who commute or who buy fuel to produce and so on, they've been hit by a cost that their business cannot absorb. But clearly, the government actually is working to find a solution to this, because ultimately, we have to confront reality. We have to come to this point. We have to find solution to these immediate problems, but the long term will be to ensure that we refine our own crude oil to meet our local demand. Exactly. Which I believe that with this is the number one assignment on the table of the incoming Minister of Gas as well as the Minister of Petroleum. Yes. So I believe gradually, we would win out of this, will gradually get out of these immediate challenges, which of course requires kind of adjustment on our lifestyle, for all of us. That anything that is not necessary that we do, in our lives, we have to curb it in electricity consumption, in fuel consumption, and so on, and address basic issues while we fight to get out of this problem.
So you strongly believe that Tinubu will ultimately get it right?
There is no doubt.
Properly taken off.
Oh, there is absolutely no doubt that there is no doubt that there is a commitment. Okay. There's very strong commitment to take Nigeria out of these problems, to a point where Nigerians can live affordable lives, where Nigerians can have incomes that can take care of their needs, where Nigerians can have savings, to plan for their, future, where Nigerians can have enough money to send their children to feed, send their children to school, take care of their medical needs, and then you say buy a car or build a house.
Right.
I mean, Nigeria was not like this. I mean, 40, 50 years ago, in the 70s and 80s, every employed person was prosperous. You could you can take a small loan and build a house.
Yeah.
You can walk into a car showroom once you're employed and, drive without
but they are
a new
sure
car.
that you will pay.
Oh, indeed, yes.
All
we need to generate, we are going to come to a level where we'll have a working economy, not this broken economy that we have today.
All right. Thank you very much. Architect, we will go on a break and we will return.
Okay.
The conversation will continue. Viewers, we are still with Architect Waziri Bulama. We'll go on a short break. Don't go away. We'll be back shortly.
This is Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back. If you are just joining, this is Daily Politics on Trust TV. Do well to follow the conversation across our social platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and watch us live on YouTube. And I still have with me Architect Waziri Bulama, former National Secretary of the APC, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, foundation member of the party.
Yes.
Yeah, and then member of the caucus.
National caucus.
You also participated fully in the presidential campaign.
Yes.
Council of 2015. 2019, 2023.
2011, 2015,
exactly.
2019, 2023.
Are you satisfied with the reward system of the APC? Let's start with the Buhari administration. Has his government, the APC under his watch, compensated people? I'm not talking about giving people money and all that, people who work for the party. Are you satisfied? And what lessons are there for Tinubu to learn?
Well, you see, to be very frank, answering this question directly, the view of most members of the party and most sympathizers of the party, many mobilizers and campaigners and groups in the party, in APC, the experience for them from the 2015 victory of the APC and all through the last two elections, general elections that we won. Yeah. The party does not have a reward system. That is their view, and clearly and that is it is evident. Everybody has been saying that no, people are not happy. That when they are made to sacrifice and campaign for the party, campaign for its candidate. When the elections are won, the party does not turn back to carry them along.
Yeah.
Most people actually, definitely, all people will not get appointments.
Yeah.
But the point is that a lot of things that the party does or the government does, where people from the party or loyalists can be involved, this is not considered because let's say there are many committees that people can be carried along. Yes. There are many, let's say...
There are hundreds of boards and agencies. We remember during Buhari, it took several months, right?
Yes.
And to constitute the boards.
Yes, and also there are many activities of government. Like, say, participating in procurements, participating in assignments of the government and so on. There are thousands, of very good professionals, you see, who ordinarily, having shown their loyalty and commitment for the success of the party, they ought to have been remembered.
And it will have ripple effect on party members.
Yes. So this practice was so acute actually during the Buhari years because... Why did it happen? Well, fundamentally, I think many analysts or close associates of our group, you see, have shown that Buhari actually acted like President Buhari, with all due respect, our leader,
Yeah.
The point is he actually was he was like, he was not democratic entirely in his approach to leadership. He only, was a figure, you know, as the president and so on. But when it comes to decision making, his decision makings were entirely centralized and personalized. So people felt that, look, he appropriated, you see, the power of the party and also the power of everybody who was supposed to play a role in decision making. So he really also, if you look at it, you know, he was campaigning on this three-pronged, mantra, you know, security, economy, and anti-corruption. But the party's manifesto was there. You know, I mean, he never made reference to the party's manifesto even for once. The party's involvement, you know, in drawing up lists for decision-making or participating in government was really not. In fact, some of his defenders said that he wasn't even aware of some of the promises made by the party. Exactly. So you see, this is a practice that actually cannot continue. It's not sustainable because actually it had led to the exit. I mean, it had really not allowed the party to grow. The party from its founding in 2013, you know, had been shrinking, and a lot of people, especially around the periods approaching the 2023 elections, many people exited the party. Some joined the opposition party, some just remained at home and so on. Because they were so frustrated. Yes, they were so frustrated. But we have to really recover, you see, the founding values and the founding principles, you see, of this party to its 2013, 2014, 2015 days that, you know, where members, you see, were very happy with the party. And also the public also were happy with the party that it was a party of hope. You know, it was a party that could save them from these years of impunity and, you know, outright abuse of the rule of law and so on preceding before the 2015 elections. So this, I believe that the present leadership of the party, under former Governor Ganduje. Under Governor Ganduje, and also inspired and led by Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who had the antecedent and a history of struggling for democracy. I believe the fortunes of the party, you know, will change. The party, Mala Hamza, is the preeminent and most central institution in a democracy. Because the party is the leadership recruitment center. The party is a dispute resolution center. The party itself is a center of unity of the country. President Muhammadu Buhari stood for elections 3 times. He couldn't make it because he couldn't break into other parts of the country until we came up with the idea of forming a broad-based national party with like-minded Nigerians to come up with APC. And since then, we have won 3 national elections, and we won the elections simply because the APC is national. It has presence in every nook and corner of the country, and it had the strength to inspire and make Nigerians vote to enable us get that 25% of votes cast in at least 24 states. Yeah, but what banana pills should Tinubu avoid not to fall into what Buhari fell during his time? Because you can see quite a number of things happening now. There is, you know, noise in the party. Some people are really clearly, you see, the party, the president has to give, and as well as other stakeholders too, because you see, in a democracy, you see, leadership, you know, it's a collective. And leadership is not, even though culturally, probably because of our long years of military rule, or because of our local culture, we see that man at the top has all the wisdom and has all the authority. But in a democracy, you see, power belongs to the people, because you can only get power through votes, number one, which you have to, every 4 years has to be repeated. The second thing is that power is also shared, you know, between the executive and the legislature. And again, the power is also split among the various structures of Nigerian structures of organization of Nigeria, the federal, the state, and the local government. So when one is going to appeal to for change, you know, in the fortunes of our party, or in reinforcing and consolidating our party, because the only reason why we won elections in 2015, 2019, and 2023 is because of the spread and the size of APC, that we cannot afford to allow the APC to diminish, you know, in size or strength. So we need to galvanize and appeal to all our stakeholders to create a party where there is justice, fairness, and transparency in its systems, procedures, and processes, and also to make sure that this party remains a party of hope for Nigerians.
Yeah.
That these basic things, you see, that Nigerians are, the challenges Nigerians are facing, we have to identify with Nigerians to find solutions to these problems, and at the same time offer mid-term and long-term solutions that even in the coming years, APC offers the hope of turnaround, for Nigeria.
We have started seeing some serious realignments now. Look at Atiku's visit to Konkoso. Ordinarily, had we've seen Konkoso's name in the ministerial list, I don't think Atiku will visit him. Meaning Konkoso, one way or the other, is aggrieved. Maybe he didn't get what he wanted. Something happened along the way. Now we saw Wike, it's now Minister of the FCT, he has visited Ganduje in so meaning most likely he will move to APC. Is this positive for your party?
Well, clearly, you see, the political elites, many
you are one
leaders.
Of them.
Well, I'm one.
Yes.
But actually, you see, I'm a process person, actually.
Okay.
In the party, you see, there are people who are power politicians who are interested in power only. There are people who are interested in service and process to ensure that there is fairness and justice and transparency and so on. And there are people who are also interested in transactions only, getting, something out of anything, anytime. These are a few of the class of politicians we have within the parties. But the point is, the power politicians within all the parties, you see, they are only interested in really power as it is, pursuit of power.
Yeah.
And so because of that, in every situation or at any time, their interest is, you might have heard that probably not just the visit of His Excellency Vice President Atiku to Konkoso,
yes.
But even within our parties, there are movements. We might have all these, talks, scenarios about this.
And you
this
can
group
see people are angry. Look at Salihu Lukman.
People are
the national vice chairman.
We'll come to that. Okay. I can talk on, Lukman's position on things really, but the point is, some of our politicians, and particularly for us in the ruling party,
yes.
I think we need to curb in any excesses towards focusing on power. Rather, let us think of service. Let us think of building the party and strengthening the party and ensuring that the party systems, processes, and procedures are transparent, that generate fairness and among members in the party, and there is a reward robust reward system to identify people who have really contributed to this party's success. They should be carried along in many, of the party's activities and the government's activities. We also, of course, need to do as much as possible, to ensure that we update our manifesto, to merge the renewed hope agenda and the agenda of the party.
APC?
Myself?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Look,
but it's like Salihu Lukman, because I want us to talk on his approach to some of these issues.
Yes.
He said Tinubu is not getting it right.
Oh, that is an overstatement.
Very clinical in his approach.
That is an overstatement. Oh. That is an overstatement because, you see, with all due respect to Lukman. I mean, he is also a friend too. And, he's giving me all his books and all his writings.
He reads a lot, right?
Oh, he does. In fact, he had even personally written like 4 or 5 books on party issues and so on.
And that's why he's so bold
and all
to
his writings.
But
the point is this, you see, while some of his observations may be right, but there is some of this, the way he looks at these observations or takes these observations, excessive, number one. I mean, if there's a small problem, there's no need to, take this problem out of context.
They say he's also a letter writer. He has been writing, but,
in his letters,
the leaders don't really read the letter to others.
In his letters memo to Asiwaju, he said, at the risk of being called a Protestant.
Yes.
And indeed, really, he's a Protestant. Because, you see, there is no organization in the world, not to talk of a political party, which is a human organization, where you will not have internal misgivings, shortcomings here and there, But the observations made by Lukman, as much as most of them have elements of concern, but they are no threat to no existential threat to the survival of the APC, and actually on the decision-making style Asiwaju or the things that he had done so far. I don't think there is anything bad in the way.
Are you not worried replacing Abdullahi Adamu with Abdullahi Ganduje?
I'm not worried at all. Because
but he said that the letters of the constitution of your party were breached because they said whenever a certain person, official, from a certain zone vacates the office or removed or whatever, he should be replaced by somebody from that. Yeah, that was his concern.
But you see, this is the constitution of the APC.
Oh, you came here with him. He came prepared to. Maybe I will ask you this question.
Yes, but the point is, the decision that brought in, well, of course, the resignation of Senator Abdullahi Adamu, highly respected, experienced Senator Abdullahi Adamu, and Otumba Omishore, their resignation is done. Now, the replacement, was generated, by the party, through the National Working Committee. Now, the National Working Committee brought this submission to the National Caucus. The National Caucus met. The National Caucus met. But even before the National Caucus met, the caucus of the party in most zones of the country, had already thrown their weight behind the decision to nominate Dr. Ganduje, as national chairman. So there was a broad consensus among the stakeholders of the party. So when this issue was brought before the National Caucus, I was at the National Caucus meeting as a former National Secretary.
Yeah, you attended?
Yes, both in a former National Secretary.
And you didn't object it?
Not only
Don't
that.
Don't you think it was actually an affront on the Constitution since there is provision?
I mean, all these leaders were there. All the governors were there. The President was there. The Vice President was there. Senate President. The Speaker. these are the people who are even making the laws and overseeing the implementation of the laws in this country. Right, they are all there.
Yeah.
So who is this man? The point is that, this thing followed a due process. Yeah. And also it was supported by all the stakeholders of the party, capped, by the blazing of the National Caucus. So after the National Caucus raised motion and it was endorsed, the following day, the National Executive Committee received this and then blazed it. And then Dr. Ganduje became, and we're very happy, because Dr. Ganduje
is a politician.
He's a highly experienced, he's deep with a PhD.
Okay.
He has many years of decades of working.
You're an architect, a qualified one.
Yes.
But he has some corruption allegations.
Come on, that one is, this one is...
I'm sorry, I'm really pushing because our readers, our viewers would like me to ask all these questions.
Yes.
I'm in their shoes.
That's fine, but the point is that he is deep. He had bureaucratic experience in many years of decades working in the public service. He's an experienced politician. He knows the feelings of people. He knows how to bring people together. And he is accessible.
We can see
and he's
the whole of PDP in Rivers now.
So all the stakeholders saw these attributes in him and also, nominated him and also endorsed him as national chairman of the party, plus Senator Ajibola, Basiru from Osun State. He's also a guy who is deep. He's a lawyer. He has a lot of experience. He's a conviction-driven person. He has he's really a very strong party ideologue, and I worked with him when I was National Secretary, when we appointed him into a committee, and I really actually look forward to working with him even then, because he has a lot of ideas and he's strongly, conviction-driven person. Yeah. So his last assignment, of course, he was in the Senate as Senate spokesman, and we are very happy having him, both of them, as leaders.
There are other offices to be filled. There are other offices to be filled. For instance, the Deputy National Chairman of the party, Senator Abukari, who is now a minister, is from Borno.
Yes.
You're from Borno.
Yes.
Are you preparing to step into where he left?
Well, look, there are many vacant positions in the party right now.
Okay.
The Deputy National Chairman North, National Vice Chairman Northwest, which
quite a number. Even the National Legal Advisor,
National Welfare Officer,
but I'm referring to Borno.
National Legal Advisor, National this, National that. In a political setting, you don't crown yourself.
Okay. But you're amenable.
You're part of a process.
Yeah.
A process throws up, a decision. It's not in my hands, really, to look for anything, or even decide anything. You understand? It's not in my hands. When I was National Secretary, the point is that, a lot of steps a lot of processes, a lot of stakeholders, took these decisions at various levels to make me, to enable me become National Secretary. You understand? So in the case of all this, just as the way the processes that threw up Dr. Ganduje and Senator Bashiru, I believe processes will be triggered in the party to fill in the remaining vacant positions in the party.
All right, we hope that we get it
and
right.
And the issue of corruption the point is that the way we...
Even though we have run out of time?
Yes,
okay,
but it is, but the thing is that the law presumes a man innocent until proven guilty, really.
All right,
so there are so many damaging things and so on, Jafar, our friend, go through of this video,
Thank you very much, I will bring you again. Akitar Waziri Bulama, former National Secretary of the APC caucus member of the Presidential Campaign Council, among many others. So thank you for coming to the program and for your informed perspective on all these national issues. Thank you very much for coming.
Thanks a lot.
And viewers, that's a wrap on today's package. We sincerely hope you found the conversation engaging and informative. And be sure to join Daily Politics Live, airing every weekday, and also our special package on Friday, during which we open our telephone line for you to comment on national issues. Once again, we thank you for watching, and join us tomorrow for another interesting edition. Bye-bye for now. I'm Hamza Idris.